Hey, welcome to Studio Dasi. Today we're going to be talking about starting a creative business and the 3 steps that I find are very important for your business strategy. In 2017, my partner and I started an animation studio focusing on lyric videos for musicians, and it was pretty successful fairly early on, and I attribute that to just following quite a simple strategy. It's a bit of work, obviously, like everything is. And yeah, I am currently now sort of wanting to almost start it again because I found that my styles have changed and a lot of the work that I've been doing and receiving isn't really aligning with that. So I thought, let me do this all again, take you along, give you advice and kind of the structure that I've been using, and hopefully it can help you too. I'm going to break this video down into 3 steps: making your portfolio, your website and branding, and then marketing. And these steps you'll kind of follow consecutively in the strategy going ahead. So starting with your portfolio. So if you are going to be creating a new portfolio or a couple new pieces to support your portfolio, one of the big things I suggest is giving yourself a deadline. A goal and a deadline, just to make sure that you're not dragging on these pieces forever. And also that you aren't creating pieces that are so elaborate that it almost feels impossible to finish. Because I know a lot of us creatives, we kind of can get bored. So create small pieces that are sort of impactful, but aren't going to take you months and months to make. If you are creating new work, have at least 4 pieces, 4 sort of strong pieces that fall into a similar look, feel, theme, voice, that will just show the customer or the client that this is something that you can do and you've done a few of them and you could do more. If you are a video content creator, whether you do animation or anything that isn't like a still image, I think keep your video content or your video portfolio really short and sweet, sample size videos. You don't have to create a full music video or a full lyric video. The little anecdote actually to share about that is I once for portfolio just wanted to try a new style of animation and created a very short clip of a Lizzo song, making a character and backgrounds, and sort of it looked a lot like the work I usually do. And it wasn't commissioned by Lizzo, but I still, to this day, when I'm around friends or whatever, and they say, oh, well, she created something for Lizzo. And I'm like, no, I didn't. But it gives that perception because I created something that was kind of a good production, very short, but nobody would have bothered to watch the full video. But just seeing it gave me this kind of legitimacy that wasn't true, actually. But it obviously made me look good. So yeah, it's just funny. People's perceptions of what you do can be defined in a very short space of time. And it's really good to capitalize on that. Use short, punchy videos of varying manners to just show what you do. And then lastly, with your portfolio, niche is really, it is king. You are wanting to design websites or create illustrations, what is a niche maybe that you could tap into? Something that obviously aligns with your interests, because you don't want to, just target something and then get really bored. It's just not sustainable. But what is something that you could maybe pivot your artwork or your interests in towards, and what are the type of markets that you could target? Customers talk to each other in a weird way, or if they don't talk to each other, they look at what each other's doing. So if you're creating work, for example, you are a illustrator and you do print on cake designs, that's your main niche, right? When Instagram cake designers are printing things, other cake designers are going to look to them and say, oh, well, that's a cool print, I wonder who did it. And yeah, it's a funny way. My examples are kind of weird today, but you get my drift. Is if you work in a niche and you become the kind of the go-to person in that niche, you will find a lot more work comes in, and you won't be having to market yourself as hard all the time. So this brings us on to step number 2, which is your website and your branding. The main reason for having a website is just to have kind of a professional landing page for clients to see that you are legit, you have a place to showcase your work and your contact, and it's just like a clean, professional space to have. So we used Squarespace for our website, Studio Dusty, because it just acts as a portfolio, really. I've got maybe 2-3 pages on there, illustration, motion, and a landing page, and then obviously our contact details. And I just, anytime somebody wants to look at my work, I just have, one link that sends them directly to my motion, for example, the work page, and that will allow them to see everything that I've done, or all the work that I feel is worth sharing that I've done. And they can kind of have a little look and then click on certain things. Obviously the landing page also has this show reel straight up there. So I want it to be as little clicks as possible to get to my work, so it's the first thing that they see. And then also for your contact details, make it as easy as possible for people to reach out to you. We've got an emailer, that's just like a little add-on extra that you drop in, like a widget or whatever you call it, and just super simple. That as well as the email address, as well as contact numbers, just make yourself as accessible as possible. The last thing I'd say is just everything that you do on your website adds legitimacy, and that's what makes clients, especially if you're working online, clients feel comfortable working with you. And I think having something like your contact page, but your about page, having a little description of you, who you are, your interests, maybe kind of any accolades you have, and a photo of you. And I know not everybody's always comfortable with that, but I just found that having our photos on the website just gave a face to the people they were talking to. And even though I've always worked via email, it's, I think, very rare. I think in my whole 7 years, I think I've spoken via Zoom or, any kind of video call, maybe 2, 3, 4 times. But I still have kept like a rapport on email, and I think that's because people have seen my face in a photo, and they kind of have an idea of who they're speaking to. My last little piece of advice on this is, I know it's so fun, the branding and making the website, it's like a really fun element of starting up a business, but my advice is refrain from spending too much time on it, because it can take up all your time and you can lose focus, getting just swept into the excitement of like building your shop, So just like, again, set a little goal, a deadline for it, and just get it out, get it done, and use the templates. Don't build it from scratch. We built on Squarespace and it's perfect. It serves all the purposes we need, and it's just a landing page for your portfolio. So keep that in mind. Okay, part 3, the marketing. This is my hardest part of the business, because I just feel like naturally I find this part a little bit hard and boring and tedious. So we've got this. Like off the bat, maybe to just ease you into things, is you can set up all the sort of freelance accounts, the Fiverr, the Upwork, whatever the websites are. Sign up to them. Generally, I'd say it's very competitive. You are often not being paid much, you know, they're kind of known to be sort of cheap labor, so nobody's really going there to look to spend a lot of money. But if you feel like it's a way to ease into getting clients and working and sort of the rhythm of things, go for it. Just, yeah, keep in mind that it's maybe not going to be the best place for you long term, but great place to start. I mean, I still have all my freelance websites open. You never know. I can always say no to jobs, but you never know, the right person might pop up. Marketing tool for us has been word of mouth. And before we could get that word of mouth, we had to send out cold emails. And boy, did we send a lot of cold emails. I think we probably emailed everybody in the music industry in the world in the first few months of starting. So I'm afraid that's what you're going to have to do. Just to give you an idea of how we did it, is we had a emailer template that had a link to our website, maybe an image of sorts, and we then had to find a mailing list. And it's not like you can go online and Google like emails for, you know, jobs I want to get. You have to really find them. And I guess LinkedIn is a great way because you can, you know, pay to get direct access to people. But yeah, we kind of did the hard graft. I think what we would do is we would actually find artists that we wanted to work with, like musicians, and we would go onto their Facebook pages or their websites, and then we would see what contact email they had for their managers. And then we would email those managers directly with their names, the artist name, who we'd like to work with, and obviously a link to our portfolio and maybe an image or some kind of sample of our work. So it was incredibly tedious, and we spent a lot of our time just kind of collating these email addresses, just getting them. But it was kind of like a system. It's like you just sit down, you have your cup of coffee, you know what you're doing, and it's a bit of a copy-paste situation. Sure enough, we got a lot of rejections, but we also got some responses of people saying they liked the work, but not right now. So we felt like, okay, cool, we could keep that email address. And then also eventually we kind of got one response saying they were interested, and I'm pretty sure we did 1 or 2 videos for free, like collaboration type videos. And it was just every project we made became kind of spread as a little extra bit of marketing. Like I said earlier, is, for example, when we made a video for a musician, Toya, other South African artists saw the video because, you know, musicians are watching other musicians to see what they're up to, or managers are watching other managers. And then we got interest from other artists. You're likely, especially if the work's great, you're likely to get repeat customers, or at least be, you know, suggested for other people in the industry. So you got this. I hope this was helpful. I am very excited to be starting kind of my business again, making new portfolio, just following these steps, and I hope they help you. I will be posting more videos, giving advice. I think the next one I'm going to be doing is sort of breaking down more around creating a portfolio. But if there's anything you out there would like to see or get information on, just leave me a comment or email me and I will get back to you. Bye.